Hi again. I hope you're all well. I hope you're surviving lockdown and everything else that goes with it. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Chris Walkley. For those of you that do, hi. I'm the author of Teaching Tracks, Top 10, and having overviewed the project and its rationale in the previous video, in this one I will be talking in detail about the songs and the materials based on them and what they have to offer, both to you as a teacher as well as, of course, to your students as well. The first thing to say here is there are hundreds of thousands of songs out there, aren't there? So how do you pick? Well, what I've not done in Top 10 is chosen flavors of the month, you know, the hippest new tracks. But also what I've not done is just picked my favorite songs. I don't think it works like that. Some songs have much more to offer in the language classroom, and some, despite being great songs, have very little to offer. Okay, so the songs. Well, firstly, Top 10 includes the incredibly popular singles that were released in 2019. So, The Final Frontier, based on David Bowie's Space Oddity. Fight for Your Rights, based on Katy Perry's Raw. And Filthy Lucre, based on Pink Floyd's Money, are all there, and they've all been updated. So before the materials in each unit, there's an overview of what is going to be covered. And these overviews are, for obvious reasons, different in the students' and the teachers' books. So how else does the teacher's book differ? Well, in the teacher's book, there's an activity breakdown within each unit. And this is really useful for the staging of activities. It helps you decide at what point the song and the lyrics are looked at. For example, here you can see that this song is brought in just before activity 4. In the staging of activities, and the activity breakdown also details what the language focus is. You can see there whether it's speaking, reading, writing, listening, or whatever, and what the specific focus is. In the teacher's book, there's, of course, a key and notes and advice, which is sort of done in blue, so you can easily see it without the rest of the scripts. So this enables you to ensure that the student experience is a very rich one and enables you to prepare prior to classes. So in terms of the types of materials and activity types that you find in an average unit. So let's have a look at an average unit. This is actually Unit 1 from the book. So here we go. If we look through this, what we can see first of all is there's we start off with an activity, a warmer activity really, brainstorming what students already know about, in this situation, the moon and moon landings. Then we have a short introductory text with a few highlighted glossed words, etc. A few text question discussion points that emerge from there. Then we have sort of an intro to thinking about life as an astronaut. You take some notes on the notepad. Then using the QR codes, which are an important part of the method, there's easy access to the song. So listen to the song with your eyes closed. It's that kind of song, isn't it? Space Oddity. You really need to get into it. Lots of vocabulary work there, matching up using notepads. A little joke that my daughter did on that page there. A matchup activity with pictures for some of the main vocabulary that's coming in there. Some work on after they've used the lyrics on specific words. Have a look in the grammar that's used. Now they have the lyrics in front of them. Once again, using the lyrics, a look at the rhyme schemes that are used in the songs. A look at the grammar elements, in this case, reporting direct speech. Then activities on making deductions using cautious language. Might, may, probably, possibly, this kind of thing. yes, you know, what can they infer from what's said, you know, what's not said clearly or directly. Then a very close analysis of the lyrics. Now they're getting to really know and understand the song. And then we move on over to extended discussion. Then we have a biographical text. I don't do this with all, but particularly with David Bowie, it's very interesting. A little controversial, that. And a glossary and some text discussion points as well. Then a very interesting activity where the lyrics in the song are contrasted with the version that was carried out by Chris Hadfield on the International Space Station, and also got the QR codes there so they can easily access that song and those lyrics. Then finishing up, we have a research activity where students find out about either David Bowie's career or people generally that push boundaries, so keeping with the topic, the final frontier, the pushing the boundaries, the theme of the unit. Then we have a few fun activities aimed at slightly different levels. The pick of the bunch there is probably number 2, where they become a desert island astronaut. So they're asked to take things on a trip to the moon. What would they take and how can they justify their choice? So that gives you an idea of what's in the average unit. So I'd like to talk briefly through the other units. We've already talked about Unit 1 there, David Bowie's Space Oddity. Moving on now to Unit 2, which is all based on Lily Allen's LDN, which of course is text message language for London. This unit is called Appearance and Reality. So it starts off with a warning for this unit, you know, basically that there's controversial elements within the song, things that have been talked about, some of the words that are used. There are numerous activities. One of the highlights, I think, from this chapter is the use of estuary English. So, for example, things like the use of the glottal stop. So you've got bottle of water, that kind of thing, very common in the speech of the singer. Moving on now to Unit 3. We have a unit on the subject of which is celebrity culture and its pitfalls. I'm using a track that not everybody will know, but a nice song, useful song, thematically very interesting. Stars in Their Eyes by Just Jack. Then we move over to someone they're more likely to be familiar with. So this is Ed Sheeran, but this is the A-Team. So this was, I think, his first big hit. A very controversial song, really, because of what it deals with prostitution and drug addiction, as well as the subject, the main subject of the unit, I would say, homelessness. Then we move over to one of the singles that we looked at previously, which is Filthy Lucre. They might not know the expression. It's an expression that means, you know, ill-gotten gains, if you like, from money. So the bad side of money, although the unit is balanced very much. So there's lots and lots of vocabulary in this unit, even though the song doesn't have that many words in it. So things like phrases as well as single words as well. There's an opportunity to translate a phonetic script that happens at the end of the song. There's a text about philanthropy, so we don't just hear about the bad side of money. There are several pages of additional fun activities as well, including things like money-based cliches and quotes about money, and they can discuss how they feel about these particular quotes. Moving on to Unit 6, a chapter that deals with relationship difficulties, squeezes up the junction. So the title of the unit is A Life in a Song. So not everybody will know this. It's a very well-known song if you're of a certain age, but not everybody will know this. But it's a great example of a song that contains a narrative. So we have an activity where they have to decide the chronological order of events. What would be the logical order for these things to happen in? There's also a considerable focus on vocabulary and phonetics within the song too. There's a role play at the end, a chance to recycle language, as there is in many, if not all, units. Then we come to one that was also a single before, Fight for Your Rights. So the subject there is female empowerment, and also by implication empowerment for other people, I think, in the materials that are there. This is based on Katy Perry's Raw. So the song is used as a springboard to look at, fighting for your rights. There's the use of an emphasis on the use of metaphor and imagery. There's a look at common words that are used like gotta, getter, and wanna, things like that. Yes, very topical unit, I think, really. So then we move on to Unit 8. This is concerned, the topic here is positivity, not giving up. Hence the title, Onward and Upward. This uses Pink Floyd, Fleetwood Mac's Don't Stop. So there is a text in here which I'm quite proud of, which is about the circumstances surrounding that which the album Rumours was made, which I think is an interesting one for people to read. There's additional readings in here as well. There's actually a bit of philosophy with Boethius's Consolation on philosophy, and the contemporary poem Don't Quit is here as well. Then going on to Unit 9, in some ways you could say this is the seasonal entry. It's considered a Christmas song, but I think this is so much more than just a Christmas song, really. It's about really the different types of love, or the unit is about different types of love that exist, really, hence love in all its guises. There's a text on the ancient Greeks' beliefs on love, things like they believe there are different types of love. They categorize as things like eros, storge, pragma, things like that. And so uses the Frankie Goes to Hollywood, The Power of Love. There's also a text on the phenomenon of Christmas number ones, because actually, in actual fact, this song got to number 2 only. There's also a fun activity that I'm very proud of called Musical Scribes, which is not unlike a linguistic version of musical chairs, really. And then the last unit, which is Unit 10. So it's based on the REM song Every Day Is Yours to Win. And it brings to mind, I think, the topic of heroism. There's an activity there where students work out semantically, grammatically, etc., what could come next in the sentence, and they can reconstruct and write their own song based on a few rules that they're given. There's a look at poetic forms like alliteration and onomatopoeia. There's another language area that looks at the concept of regret and how conditionals, particularly the third conditional, can be used to express that. The text is actually on a person close to my heart, and it's meant to get us all thinking about everyday heroes, really. Other highlights, I think, in this unit are kinesthetic activity where students ascribe mimes or gestures to the lines in a song. So I hope and trust that I've fired you up with an interest in this book. Please visit the website, so it's www.teachingtracks.co.uk to see more and to hopefully order to try out a copy of the Students and Teachers book. And what I can do today is I can offer you a 10% post-corona discount on all orders. So that would mean that the price of one teacher's book and one student's book is brought down from 55 to £50. Give you a chance to try them out. If you're interested in a bigger order, maybe a class set or something like that, please contact me directly. That's Chris Walklett at teachingtracks.co.uk. I think you'll love them. How do I know? Well, simply because everyone that's tried them has them. So thanks very much for listening, and take care, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.